Hello students, this is Mr. Brashears. Welcome to game design class. Today we're going to show you how to get started with Construct 2. It is the software that we're going to be using. So on my screen here you can see what it will look like when you open it up. However, for you guys, you are going to need to download Construct 2 from the Software Center. It is not from online or from the Construct 2 website. You need to go to the Software Center on your computer and then search for Construct 2 and you will download it. And when you're done, you'll see the little gear that looks like up here on the top. That's the icon for Construct 2. And then you'll know you have it on your machine. Once you open it up, Construct 2 should look something like this. It's probably in a free edition right now. We're in the process of getting our license. So for right now, you can, once that's open, you can just close it out. This is your start page, your home screen. Here is the start page right here. And I'm going to walk you through some of the things that you will see. So over here, if I were to open a new project, Construct 2 has empty projects, but one of the cool things that it has is in here, which we'll look at later, they've got templates of already games that are start to set up in a certain fashion. So if you wanted to build a Flappy Bird game, there's a template to help you give a jump start on that. Today, I'm going to show you, we're just going to open up the new empty project, and I'm going to go ahead and open it. Once I open it, you'll see that there's still the start page, but then I have something called the layout and the event sheet. Now, there's lots of stuff going on here, so we're going to kind of today just see what is going on and what different things mean. The layout, if I click right here, this layout right here, this is going to be the stuff that shows me what my computer game is going to look like, what my video game is going to look like. Here's where you would put some sprites and graphics and all the things that the player is actually going to see. It is the visual component, it is the layout. The event sheet, this is like the brain of the game. This is where we're going to do our programming to tell the Construct 2 what happens when the player hits another player, or when you press the space bar, what's going to happen. The event sheet is the brains, the coding of the software. Okay, so those are the two main ones, the layout for graphics, the event sheet for the brain. Over here, properties, the properties tab, this is going to show you all the things that are, if I click on layout, this is going to, and I click here and I click here, you notice the layout properties, it's going to show all the different things. I could change the name. I could tell it which event sheet I would want to use. If I clicked on event sheet or any of these other things, it's going to, the properties is going to be over here. Over here, the projects window, this is going to show all the files that you've got. Right now we have a layout sheet, an event sheet. You'll be adding things like sprites and all those different things. So this is just kind of like, think of this as your file directory where all your stuff that's in the program will live. If you click on layers, this is where we will use layers, similar to how you use layers in Piskel and some of the other programs we have. Sometimes you want to put something on its own layer and lock it, or just on its own layer so you can move it without messing up any of the other graphics. You can add things, you can lock layers, you can change the name. When you add more layers, you can reorder which way layers are going to go. Okay, so the projects tab and the layers tab are both right here. Down here is the objects. Once we start to add things in like sprites, or there's other things like keyboard controls or mouse controls, you'll find everything referenced as an object down here in the corner. Okay, so properties, projects, layers, objects. So back here, these are all some of the main things. These windows can also change. If for some reason there is a chance that some of your windows may get moved to a certain place, and yours may look a little bit different. If you see these, if you start to grab and pull on something, you'll see these things start to toggle around. you can drop stuff into certain areas of the screen. But if we go to, you can also use up here, you can click on which things you need to do, which you would want to see. I would recommend just leaving it as the basic default layout, which puts these as, we're going to move the objects and we're going to put them down here. And as you can see, sometimes that's all one window now, and that's okay for right now. Okay, so you can mess around with that. Our home screen, then here are a couple things how to save. If you want to save your project, you are going to, there's a lot of different options, but you're always going to save it as a single file. If I save this, it's going to open it up, and right here where it says .capx, I'm going to call this like test, and then when I save it, it's going to say test.capx. So you always want to save it as a single file. I'm going to cancel this right now because I'm not going to save it, but file, save as a single file, and you should see that it's a capx file. The last thing, oops, we don't want to exit yet. The last thing is when you want to run your game and see what it looks like, right up here is this play button, run layout, and it's going to actually run it right in your browser. Okay, and you can run that as many times as you want to see. There's also up here. Then there's also save, undo. This is a debugging. Okay, so all these different components, once you learn how to navigate this, you're on your way to building your own games in Construct 2.